May these words that I speak be grounded in my soul, encouraged by the God presence in me. And may these words that you hear be captured by your soul, enlivened by the God presence in you. Amen. So what is living water? Water and wells are rooted deeply in our tradition. Water, in fact, is an important symbol of life in all religious traditions. But what exactly is meant by living water? Living water is deeply metaphorical, more than just the fact that all life needs water to survive. The ancients of our tradition knew water was necessary for life. They knew their lives depended on having access to water in a land where water was scarce. It is why it was so easy for them to use water as metaphor for God, for spirit, because they witnessed the power of water to sustain life and expressed that reality with awe and wonder. Given our science today, and what we know about the importance of water, how much more might we embrace the wonder and mystery? Human bodies are about 60% water on average. Water is a vital nutrient to the life of every cell, allowing those cells to grow, reproduce, and survive. Water is needed by the brain to manufacture hormones and neurotransmitters. Water regulates body temperature through respiration and perspiration. Water acts as a shock absorber for the brain and the spinal cord. Water converts food and forms saliva for digestion. Water lubricates joints and helps deliver oxygen to the entire body. And water flushes body waste. How could we not be awed by the mysterious power of water? Isaiah's words seem even more prophetic to me now when he says in chapter 58, God offers life to your bones, and you will be like a watered garden, a spring of water whose waters never run dry. The Spirit of God, as living water, becomes the very spirit of life, the building material of our souls. Wells, like water itself, are also metaphorical in the stories we heard today. Rebekah's well here and Jacob's well contain the water to sustain their physical lives. But I also see these wells as souls that contain the living water to sustain and grow their spiritual lives. 20 years ago, I was part of a mountain bike group. We biked back roads and trails all over the Okanagan. One August day, one of my friends from that group and myself decided that we wanted to bike from Vernon to Oyama on the east side of Cal Lake. There's no road on that side, but we had heard there was a trail. We had no idea of the difficulty as we began. But given the number of kilometers, we assumed it would be a half-day ride. So we set out early in the morning with snacks and a couple of liters of water each, assuming we would be in Oyama at his house for lunch. The trail turned out to be little more than a goat path, with sections so steep we had to walk our bikes, and the temperature soon reached into the upper 30s. We were out of water and snacks barely halfway through the trip. Our thirst became more and more unbearable. We even considered trying to find a way down the steep cliffs to the lake below. But we pressed on for hours, becoming more and more dehydrated, more thirsty, and even lightheaded. When we finally hit the bench and coasted into Oyama late that afternoon, and it was nearly supper time, we were completely exhausted. And when I was finally able to get a drink, that water was the best I had ever tasted in my life. It saved me. I finally understood the image of living water. Living water as a symbol of God's presence is as important to my life as fresh water is to my body. Rebecca and the Samaritan woman are two very different stories about living water, but with some important similarities. Both are about public encounters between a man and a woman who speak to each other, which is forbidden by their culture. Both are about trusting their inner God spirit, the spirit in their soul, rather than obeying the religious law. And both women experience a profound transformation. Rebecca trusts the Spirit of God, drinks living water, and leaves family and community to embrace a new life in a strange land. The Samaritan woman trusts the Spirit of God, drinks living water, and rejoins her family and community where she had been an outcast, embracing new life free of shame. Each of us is called by the Spirit of God to drink deep of the living water that is already there in the well of our soul. This community is called to that same well. What is living water? It is to drink deep, to live in God in spirit and in truth. It is a call to live into the fullness of the Spirit of life and to live into the fullness of who we are meant to be. May each of our souls, wells of the Spirit of life, drink deep this living water.